It started on a rainy Tuesday. The kind of rain that makes the city streets glisten like glass and leaves people hurrying under umbrellas, trying to disappear into the puddle filled sidewalks. But for Clara, the rain didn't make her want to hide, it made her feel invisible. Clara was 32, a school teacher, and a woman who had spent most of her life caring for everyone else. Her days were filled with lesson plans, grading papers, and making sure her students felt seen, even if she herself often didn't feel seen at all. She lived alone in a small apartment filled with books and memories, the walls crowded with photographs of birthdays, vacations, and smiles that seemed like they belonged to someone else. Her own smile had become rare. The heartbreak of losing her mother 5 years ago, the quiet end of a long term relationship, and the daily grind of work had layered on a weight she carried quietly. Her friends called her strong, but strong often felt lonely. That Tuesday, the rain was relentless, tapping against her apartment window like a constant reminder that she was still there, still breathing, still stuck. She had no reason to leave the apartment, no plans, no excitement. And yet, for reasons she didn't fully understand, she grabbed her coat and stepped outside, umbrella in hand. As she walked down the street, her eyes caught something unusual, a small community garden tucked between two tall brick buildings. She had passed it countless times before, but had never really noticed it. Today, the colors of the flowers seemed almost to glow against the gray sky, as if inviting her in. She stepped inside, the sound of the rain muffled by the leaves and petals surrounding her. The garden was quiet except for the gentle drip of water from the flowers. She noticed an elderly man kneeling by a patch of soil, hands deep in the earth, planting bulb with care. He looked up, smiling warmly. "Hello," he said. "I don't see many visitors on rainy days." Clara nodded, unsure what to say. "It's beautiful," she finally murmured. The man's eyes twinkled. "It is, isn't it? I come here every day. My wife used to love flowers. After she passed, I started this garden to keep her memory alive." Something in his voice struck her, something familiar, like the quiet ache she carried in her own chest. Without realizing it, she found herself kneeling beside him, helping to plant a small row of tulips. "I've never really gardened before," she admitted. "That's the beauty of it," he said. "It doesn't matter if you've never done it. The plants don't judge. They just grow if you give them care." Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. They planted tulips, daffodils, and small pansies, talking quietly about life, loss, and the unexpected ways people find hope. Clara felt something stir in her chest, a gentle warmth, fragile but real. When she finally stood to leave, the rain had stopped. Sunlight broke through the clouds, catching on the wet petals and turning the garden into a glowing mosaic of color. The man smiled. "You're welcome to come back anytime," he said. Clara nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. For the first time in a long time, she felt like she had stepped into a place where she belonged, even if only for a moment. Over the next weeks, Clara returned to the garden whenever she could. She learned the names of the flowers, how to plant bulbs correctly, and even started bringing small bouquets to her students. The garden became a sanctuary, a place where she could breathe, reflect, and slowly, gently let go of some of the weight she had carried for so long. One day, she noticed something unusual. A young boy, no more than 10, was sitting on the edge of the garden, head down, hands covering his face. Clara approached carefully. "Hi there," she said softly. "Are you okay?" The boy sniffled, lifting tear streaked cheeks. "I I just moved here, he admitted. I don't have any friends. Clara knelt beside him. You're not alone, she said. Sometimes it takes a little time to find people who understand you. This garden. It's a good place to start. Over the next hour, they planted a small row of flowers together. The boy's hands were clumsy at first, but soon he was laughing, muddy fingers digging into the soil, eyes bright with a light Clara hadn't seen in a long time. By the time he left, he was holding a tiny bouquet of tulips he had planted himself. Clara watched him run down the sidewalk, smiling to himself, and felt a warmth spread through her chest. Months passed. Clara's life slowly began to change in ways she hadn't expected. The garden had become a meeting place for neighbors, children, and anyone who needed a quiet moment of peace. She met people from all walks of life, widows, young parents, students, and even a few retirees who reminded her of her own father. Every conversation, every shared laugh, every planted flower added color not just to the garden, but to her heart. And then came the day she found a letter tucked beneath a flower pot. The handwriting was delicate, familiar. She unfolded it and read, Dear Clara, thank you for your kindness, for helping my son feel welcome, for showing us all that even small acts of care can grow into something beautiful. The garden is our miracle, and you are a part of it. Mrs. Ellis. Clara's eyes filled with tears. She realized in that moment that the garden hadn't just healed her, it had helped her touch the lives of others. Her heart, once heavy and quiet, now felt full and alive. Spring turned into summer. The flowers bloomed with bright colors, butterflies visited, and children's laughter echoed through the garden. Clara found herself smiling more, laughing more, even taking little risks in her own life. A weekend trip, joining a local book club, sharing her stories with her students in a way she never had before. One evening, as the sun set, casting golden light across the garden, the elderly man who had first welcomed her approached. His steps were slow but steady. You've done well, Clara, he said softly. This garden, it's more than flowers. It's hope. And you've given that hope to everyone who visits. Clara looked around, seeing children planting sunflowers, neighbors chatting on benches, and couples walking hand in hand. The garden had grown, not just in size, but in spirit. I I never imagined this, she said. I thought I was just passing time, trying not to feel so alone. He shook his head gently. Sometimes when we think we are lost, we are exactly where we are meant to be. You didn't just find the garden, Clara. You found yourself. And in doing so, you helped others find theirs. Clara smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. She had come to the garden carrying grief, loneliness, and doubt. She was leaving it with joy, connection, and hope. A reminder that even in the quietest, darkest moments, life could surprise her with beauty. Years later, Clara would often walk through the garden, now vibrant and alive, remembering the first rainy Tuesday that changed everything. She had learned something profound. Life, much like a garden, didn't demand perfection. It demanded care, patience, and love. Even the smallest acts, planting a seed, offering a smile, listening to someone, could grow into something miraculous. And as she watched the children laughing, the neighbors sharing stories, and the flowers swaying gently in the breeze, she realized that she had finally understood the truth. Every heart deserves a second chance. Every life, even one weighed down by grief, can bloom again.